Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hobby Vomit. My name is Ian, and I'm excited to have you for another Weekly Retch. I know we shouldn't be doing this in front of the kids, but we're going to be doing it anyway. So, this is actually funny enough. This is actually my second take because I did my first take, and I got about 2 minutes in, and I looked back, and my dog was just like pooping in the background. So I was like, nah, we'll just redo it real quick. It'll be fine. So I don't normally record this on Fridays, and I don't normally record this in the morning, hence why my kids are all out back playing and having fun. But it's all good. So we've got some unfortunate news, some sad news. So the reason why I'm recording this today is because my grandma passed away. And so I'm going to be with my family this weekend. She passed away last weekend. And so I've been helping with the funeral details this weekend. I'm going to be with my family this weekend at the lake. We're going down for some much needed R&R. And then I'm going to see my parents again on Sunday, and then the funeral is on Monday. So I'm going to try to record this today and get it scheduled so that way it can go out on Sunday, and I don't have to worry about trying to record it then. So, it's just that time of life. It wasn't anything abnormal, just natural causes. She was 88. She lived a beautiful life. We're so blessed and thankful to have her as grandma. And she is really, I think, one of the key people that instilled in me a passion for hobbies and games. I was telling Matt that, when she would come visit, because she lived in Arizona with my grandpa, when they would come visit, they would typically come stay with my mom and my dad and my sister and I. It's just the four of us. And they would come stay with us. Oh, baby girl. Hey, Maggie. They would come stay with us, and we would just play games like for hours. I mean, anything, like we play card games, dominoes, board games. We would just play and play and play for hours. I mean, they were really the one who taught me how to play card games. They were the ones who taught me how to shuffle cards. They're the ones who got me into board games. And I mean, like from like the age of 4, I mean, we just play games like crazy. And so they're really, I think, the ones who gave me a passion for playing games and getting excited about games and getting interested in hobbies. True to their form, when we went to go visit my grandma, knowing that she wasn't doing so well, we go to her house, and my grandma's in her chair, my grandpa's in his chair, and my grandma's got a solitaire next to her. She's got a cribbage board with a deck of cards. She's got her crossword dictionary and crossword book open, and my grandpa's got his Sudoku. And it's just like, that's for me. When I'm 88, I hope that I'm still in that form, right? I've got my Sudoku book, and I've got my board games, and I got my movies, my books, and I'm just enjoying those things that I've been enjoying my entire life, So a great testament. We're going to miss Grandma, but I'm so glad that we got to know her. But with that out of the way, let's talk about our hobbies for this week. So we've got books, we've got games, we've got movies, not necessarily in that order, but let's go ahead and start off with books. So books is pretty straightforward. We are trying to finish Gardens of the Moon, the first book of Malazan. So with us going to the lake this weekend, my plan is just to wrap up all the work I need to do today and just spend the weekend reading. I actually usually read pretty quick, so I'm kind of excited to get through this book, and I think we're going to be done with it very, very soon. I'm expecting to be done with it this next week. I know Matt is really excited to get to the next book, as am I. So I'll be having more videos come out for the remaining parts of Malazan as I get through them. I will be taking notes and things like that and recording videos on that. And then I'll have a book review at the end. Matt and I are going to be discussing how we want to do book 2, but we are going to do some reviews of different parts of that book. And we're going to do that together. We don't know quite what the time frame of that is going to be. I know it's going to be soon, because as soon as I finish Gardens of the Moon, we're going to move on to the second book, Deadhouse Gates. And so we'll be recording our thoughts and our expectations as we go through that book, and then recording a review at the end together. So I'm very excited for us to get to do that. So I've been reading that, and then I've been keeping up with the other books. I haven't finished anything just yet. So I need a new Audible book. So I'm excited to start Joe Abercrombie. So now that I was listening to Dungeon Crawler Carl on Audible, but now I'm listening to that with my wife. So I need another book to listen to in the mornings when I'm heading to work. Something to keep me from incessantly being on YouTube, which I am prone to. So I'm thinking I'm probably going to start the first book of the First Law trilogy. That was a big recommendation from Matt. And Joe Abercrombie seems like a great author, so I'm excited to get into that one. It looks like it's going to be a good read. So I think I'm going to do that one. There's also Dark Tower Gunslinger. I did listen to a little bit of that, but I do like where it's going. However, just from what Matt's been saying about Joe Abercrombie, I think it would be cooler to jump into that. And then there's some events coming up soon with Joe Abercrombie that seem really exciting. And so I think I'm just going to I just after listening to a little bit of both, I think I want to start with Joe Abercrombie, and I'll come back to Stephen King's The Gunslinger with the Dark Tower series later. Then Leviathan's Wake is still on hold. It probably will be on hold for a while, maybe until the end of Lent. I'm working through the confessions and trying to work in more scriptural reading, so I think that one just needs to stay on hold until we get through Lent. But yeah, so hoping that relatively soon, or not relatively soon, very soon, we finish the first book of Gardens of the Moon, and then we get to move on to the second book, and then my wife and I will get to finish Dungeon Crawler Carl. I'm going to finish the first book of the Enchanted Forest Chronicles by Patricia C. Reed with my kiddos. That will probably be in like 2 weeks. And then we'll keep working on St. Augustine's The Confessions. I've just been listening to that on YouTube, which has been really awesome. And then trying to do more scriptural reading. We'll finish Dungeon Crawler Carl with my wife at some point. And we're going to start up the first book of the First Law trilogy on Audible as we commute back and forth to work. So should be an overall good time, and I'm excited. I'm excited to keep it going. So and see what comes next. So then after that, we get into movies and TV shows. Over the last couple of weeks, just with things going on with my family, and then also with work, I haven't really done much in terms of movies or TV shows. I believe I can't remember if the last time I recorded this, we had watched The Lighthouse. I think we did. I think that's right. And so, but if not, then I had watched The Lighthouse as a part of our movie discussion. We're currently trying to decide what to watch next. We did a marble race, but the problem after the fact was that the marble that won, we looked at that as a group, and Matt had put it on because he was interested. I'm totally up for watching it. But it is one where a lot of us looked at it. We're like, well, this is a very different kind of movie, and not necessarily in the good way for us, where the movie focuses on a lot of like body horror, and the movie focuses on a lot of, I wouldn't say like indecency. I would say that to be a bit more respectful with my terms. But essentially it just doesn't look like the kind of movie a lot of us, would have a great time watching on the scene. I mean, there are it is important to be able to not necessarily enjoy, but watch mature topics like that. I think that's an essential part of being an adult and participating in the culture. Is like you have to be willing to address or dialogue with mature topics. But there is like an extent to which it's a form of art that just doesn't resound with you. And I think that the kind of art that we're seeing is just not the kind of art that resounds with us because of its shocking elements. And so we are probably not going to watch the one that won the marble race, and instead we'll pick something else, maybe something a bit more uplifting. So yeah, and I think we have some ideas on how to change the marble race to kind of prevent this kind of thing in the future, and to give more people an opportunity to put their movies into the list as well. So I'm excited to see what changes we do with that. But yeah, so I'll be watching that movie as well once it's decided upon. And the only other thing though is I did finish The Gorge, and I finished 0 Day. I think that's what it's called, 0 Day with Robert De Niro. So The Gorge was a solid C movie. I had a fun time watching it. And so if you ever want to see, how Anna Taylor-Joy does as a sniper, well, then go watch The Gorge. It's a fun movie. It's about two people that stand across the mysterious gorge away from each other. They're not supposed to interact, but they do anyway, and they form this relationship based off of their unique skills, how those skills isolate them from the rest of the world, but not from each other, and how they can appreciate the circumstances that each other have been through, they each have been through, and then they come together in their sort of mutual attempt to understand why it is that they're defending this gorge from something. And so it's a very fun film. It's, like I said, solid C film. It's just a good thriller that you don't have to ask questions. You just are along for the ride. Things just roll from one scene to the next, and everything kind of wraps up. The biggest criticism I have of that film is just that we don't really have a villain, and the villain just doesn't wrap up nicely with the ending. It just wraps up way too quick. It's like they were enjoying it a lot, and then they realized they only had like 10 minutes left, and they're like, oh, wait, hold on, we gotta wrap everything up. And so I think I think if we wanted to keep the movie at the same time length it is, then I think we needed more cut from the middle, not the end. And so I would have appreciated to spend more time with the villain. So, but it's got some recognizable faces, actors you will definitely recognize. And overall, it's just, if you need like just a veg on a couch and you want to put on a newer action film you haven't seen before, something with some thriller elements, yeah, throw it on up. It's worth a watch. 0 Day though. So I watched that one. Absolutely phenomenal. Really encourage everyone to watch that one. It has an unreliable narrator, which is amazing. It's handled so well. If you're not really a techie or not really interested in tech related shows, this is not heavy on the techie side. It's like a political drama without being the kind of political dramas we typically get. It's not one that's focused on people's vying for power and trying to, push each other out or underhandedly backstab. Like, it's just focusing on a really interesting, exciting event and trying to understand to what extremes people might go in order to address an extreme event, and focusing on a character who is in his position because he has the virtue to hold restraint, right? Like, he's being put in a situation where he can become very extreme, but because of who he is, he's holding the reins and trying to keep everything from getting way too out of hand. But at the same time, that means that we're sort of like teetering on the edge of madness, and the only thing keeping us from going over is an elderly ex-president who is apparently becoming senile. So it's really interesting. It's so well done. The acting is great. The narrative is great. The story wraps up in a great fashion. The pacing is right on from beginning to end. The unreliable narrator is handled so well. So just a phenomenal TV show. And it also, I will say, it also goes to not show because it's fictional, but it's definitely making a statement about the current state of affairs. There is a lot of technology that's used by the government that is very outdated. Okay. I will not try to overspeak to my experience. I am a computer science professor at a school with a large cybersecurity program and a lot of government funding, who has worked on government contracts since, in this case, 2015. And so I've had some experience working with people in the government, research branches, military branches. People I've worked with have been phenomenal. But from what I've heard and what I've seen, there is a lot of outdated technology. And that is scary. We should not be, operating critical infrastructure on decades old technology. But the process for updating the technology is really difficult, in part because you can't just turn it off. You can't just be like, hey, by the way, we're going to need entire states to go without power for weeks so we can update this stuff, So it has to be incremental. It has to be all over a long, extended period of time. And it has to be done perfectly, So it's really difficult, and there's a lot of great people that are working on that challenge. But it is scary, and it leaves open the possibility of some pretty crazy attacks that could happen. And so this one is a very, very fictional one, but it's very cool. And I think it was just it's a very exciting modern take on a political thriller. So you should definitely check it out. It's well worth the watch. And then other than movies and shows, we go into games. So I have been doing a couple of things this week. So Matt and I tried to start up another playthrough of Elder Scrolls. We kind of had to put that on pause for a little bit, but we're going to come back to it. We put it on pause because Matt found out that Split Fiction came out. I had never heard of Split Fiction or It Takes Two, but we finished Split Fiction, which was super exciting. I think I may have mentioned that we were playing it, but we have finished now. And so we are back to playing We Were Here Forever. And I think that once we finish that, we're going to move to It Takes Two, which I'm very excited for. It just went on sale, so I picked it up, and I'm really excited to play. We Were Here Forever, by the way, is a phenomenal game. I really love the cooperative puzzling game that's presented in that. And we've played some of the other We Were Here's before, so like We Were Here Friendship, we've played together. I had a great time. That's why I want to play more. And so if you ever are able to pick those up on sale, I would absolutely recommend it. You do need another player, right? You need another player, but it's such a good time. So if you can, definitely play We Were Here. And my overall thoughts on Split Fiction, play it. It's great. I mean, it's so good. So good. So definitely play that one.
Daddy, it's raining.
Oh, it's raining? Oh, okay. Well, come on in. Bring JoJo in. So you should definitely play it. It's like sprinkling outside. So he's like, oh no, it's raining. It's so good. But yeah, so definitely play Split Fiction. It's awesome. Matt says It Takes Two might be better, even though it's the first one. I'm so excited to play that. We Were Here Forever. Great time. There's also a lot more meat on the bone with this game, so I'm glad that we're going to get to play it for longer. And then in terms of other games, just playing a lot of Wilds because Wilds is amazing. So I've actually, I'm in the in game. I've actually finished all of the available content currently. So now I'm just kind of working on beating the game with different weapons, as well as just trying to get better at different weapons. And I'm just enjoying that. I've always been a huge fan of action RPGs, and I've always wanted to get into Monster Hunter, but it just wasn't the right time, and now it is. And so it's been super good. And then the other thing has been playing a lot of Dwarf Romantic in terms of board games. Got to play some Creature Caravan this week with Brooks and Matt, which was a ton of fun. That game is just really cool. Like a little tableau builder, a little bit of movement on a little bit of piece movement. 12 rounds, flows really quick with simultaneous turns. Great time. So Creature Caravan, love to talk about that one some more on the channel if we can. And then trying to think. Matt and I played. Oh, sorry. Hold on.
He wasn't going inside, so I picked him up.
It's just because it's raining.
Over here, bud?
It's raining outside. I don't want you to get wet.
Yeah, you want to say hi?
You want to be in the video?
You want to say hi?
You want to be in Daddy's video?
Yeah, say hi. This is Joseph. So I want to say I think we played one other game, but it's eluding me as to what that game was, which is maybe not a good thing. So silly. Matt and I started a playthrough of Agamonia. So we've been talking about wanting to get another co-op game going over TTS. We were talking about Isofarian Guard, but perhaps Isofarian Guard isn't currently on TTS. This is Maggie, by the way. Maggie, say hi.
Hi.
So we started Agamonia, and man, that was awesome. Like there was a tutorial included that we played through. It was so smooth. So it's very story driven. I've been playing as a narrator. It's extremely straightforward, easy to learn. Just a great experience. So Agamonia, it's on TTS if you can pick it up physically. I'll let you know, but so far we are really enjoying it. You want to get down? Okay. And then playing Dwarf. And then the last thing I was just going to share is that I've actually been working on a Dwarf Romantic TTS mod. And so I'm actually making Dwarf Romantic Sakura in TTS. And so I just finished my last components today. So now I'm just doing some polishing. But if you're interested in playing Dwarf Romantic on TTS, that'll be available very, very soon. And other than that...
Yeah! Woohoo!
Okay.
Kiddos, go on Mommy and Daddy's friend.
Okay.
Go Mommy and Daddy's friend.
He really doesn't want to be sit down. But other than that, just look forward to seeing some Dwarf Romantic on TTS. Okay? But y'all take care. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.